Hi there and welcome. I'm Kody from Percipient. We are a multi-award winning Sage Intacct partner and I'm here to walk you through the key highlights of the 2025 Release 4. As always, this won't cover every single enhancement, but we will focus on the updates that truly matter, the ones that save time, tighten controls and simplify life for finance teams. So I'll show you where to find them, how they work and why they matter. So let's jump straight in. Before we get into the functional updates, I just wanted to start with something that's running quietly in the background, but it is quite important. It's the import service. Now, we have already seen the enhanced import service earlier on in the year, and with that functionality, it is really useful when you upload a file, say for example, a statistical account. The system will automatically open a preview pane, so it highlights any formatting, mapping issues, missing dimensions, duplicate IDs, so anything that doesn't match your company setup. Previously, imports have been prepping a CSV, uploading that and crossing your fingers hoping that the error file that you're being sent in the email isn't too long. But now with the import service, so you can do that in the system and it's fixing errors and you can revalidate right in screen. With the update, it means we can preview and validate data across more areas this time. So currently in beta testing, we have our supplier records. We also have general ledger journal transactions, warehouses if you're using that functionality. So there's more areas available. What it means is that you can spot problems before they cause journal errors, and if you are working across multiple entities or sharing import templates, this level of data validation just really keeps it consistent. To see more details on the type of testing that's available, trial, and also just more detail on that notes, you can access that via the release notes. So right now we're in Sage Intacct. We're on the current landing homepage. Press read the release notes. This will feature the quarterly update itself, not just the latest. You can see it from the previous quarters. You can also filter by functional area, so I can break this down. As you can see, company administration, we can go into the financials, purchasing, AR and so on. What we can also do is select the region, so in my case I'll select United Kingdom, so you only see the local updates. There also is a search bar at the top if you want to jump straight to any topic, like AP Ledger for example. Type that in and the system will fire back all of the detail on that. And first of all, we'll start in automation and go to our accounts payable automation smarter email capabilities. So this is relevant for those businesses that are using the AP automation module native to Sage Intacct. So the updates in the accounts payable automation email handling are all about saving time on the invoice capture, expanding what the system can recognise automatically, and reducing how much manual work finance teams have to do in the shared inboxes. So to find this in your environment, if you are using AP automation, we go to our applications, accounts payable, setup, configuration, and then if we scroll down to AP purchase invoice automation settings, go to our email services and configure. Here you can see now we actually have functionality to enable bounce back notifications. So previously, for example, if a supplier sent an email with the wrong format, missing attachment or to the wrong domain, it would just sit. Now Intacct automatically generates a polite notice explaining why the message couldn't be processed. The accounts payable automation has also enhanced its document format handling, so it's widened the types of files that Intacct can read automatically. Attachments that are in the email body can now be extracted for processing. Transactions can now be read even when they're in the email body as text, not just when it's an attachment. And iPhone images in the HEIC file format are now supported, so you can download the attachment to compare those transaction details from that. So that's the AP automation, the smarter email handling. So next up, we will move into the accounts payable ledger and the update in there. This feature does sit in the accounts payable module, and we go to accounts payable and then over to our reports, the AP ledger. And now you can see we actually have a few more filter options. So this just gives far more control over which suppliers appear. So you can select multiple suppliers at once. You can also filter by supplier group. So once you run a report, you'd get a combined view without exporting multiple times or stitching those files together. It essentially mirrors the supplier aging reports, but you experience that is consistent across the AP reporting. So say, for example, you manage a scenario where you want to see all of your London-based suppliers. You can now just build that filter straight here, save it, and just reuse that month after month. And next up, we'll move into purchasing. With the AP automation in purchasing, currently an early adopter for the line level document matching, so this is part of the new update. This will include a more precise way to automate transactions processing with that accounts payable automation in purchasing. So benefits of this is that it increases the accuracy of transaction data by using that supplier document as a source of truth. It can then also flag discrepancies in quantity or price between those automated transactions, source transactions, which will allow you to quickly identify and resolve it. Is that we actually will see an exception summary in line entries, so you can view that summary of exceptions where there are discrepancies between matched transaction lines. So for example, you had a purchase order that has an item price of £5, for example, but the PO purchase invoice charges you £8 for that item. You can select to view the import exceptions and the exception summary, and the AI will flag that those lines don't match. What we can also do in this new update, and this is again like I've mentioned in early adopter, so this just indicates where this is going in terms of the automation in Sage Intacct. We can also add lines from a source transaction. When the AI doesn't extract all of the line entries from the document, you can add those lines from the matched source transactions or other source documents. We just enable conversions for those multiple source documents. Next up, we have the updates in accounts receivable. There is a really subtle but handy enhancement to customer statements. You can actually finally control which transactions appear before you send them. I'll show you how that looks in Intacct. We just go over to our accounts receivable module, over to the entity level, accounts receivable, and then we'll go to print or email and statements. Scroll down in our filters section. You can now see there are more available filters to choose from, so that you can either show all transactions, we can either see open invoices and credits, we can also see open invoices only. So say for example, if you're issuing monthly reminders, you might only include open invoices, whereas for a full year end, you might send a full summary and include those credits too. This just reduces that back and forth between customers and ensures that every statement reflects what you intend to discuss or inform of. In cash management reconciliation, you can now combine debit and credit transactions into a single automatic match. Now if you go to cash management, our setup and our matching and creation rules underneath reconciliation rules, we go to create, fill in all the relevant details, i.e. the name, the ID, all of that information, and here in the matching conditions is where the update is. So I'm just going to configure this on amount to equals, and I want to match this field in Intacct by combining the matching rule runs, the debits and credits are combined when matching on that amount. So ideal for things like card processing, PayPal, merchant accounts where fees hit separately, for example. The benefit, just far fewer manual pairings, faster and cleaner reconciliations. Next up, we also have an update in the general ledger. So general ledger does give complete visibility with the option to include unposted journals in both the GL and journal reports. In filters now, you can actually see this new drop down here saying include these transactions, so we can actually now filter on either posted only, unposted transactions, or posted and unposted transactions. If you include posted, for example, you can select to refine that by status, so it could be in draft, submitted, partially approved or declined. This just makes review meetings, reconciliations so much easier because you can check what's pending before it hits the ledger and spot that bottleneck in the close cycle. And finally, the headline feature for this quarter is the close workspace. The close workspace is now generally available, and it is a complete toolkit for controllers, accountants, finance leads to manage every step of the close in one place. What you get from this are things like close checklists where you can set up recurring templates, bank reconciliations, intercompany eliminations, accrual reviews, so anything that forms part of your close cycle. Each task has a due date, an owner and a tracker. And then we also have a close progress monitor, so you'd get real-time dashboards showing what's complete, what's at risk and what's overdue. And if you also enable Sage Collaborate, you can message teammates, share attachments right inside each task. No emails, no lost files. So the result is fully traceable, and it's an auditable close process that removes spreadsheet chaos and gives you confidence with every period end. That does wrap up the release highlights of 2025 for. There are more updates across the platform, UI updates, integration enhancements, so please do check the full release notes from your homepage. Thank you for watching, and if you need any help enabling or trying to trial some of these features, reach out to your support partner and they'd be happy to help.